Australian Open. How many points are Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, Keys and other WTA stars defending? The 2026 Australian Open is fast approaching, but how many ranking points will WTA Tour stars be defending at the year's first Grand Slam? Main draw action at Melbourne Park will get underway on January 18th, while the women's singles final will be played on Saturday, 31 January. Here, we look at how many points WTA players are set to drop from last year's Australian Open. Points players earned at the 2025 Australian Open. Madison Keys, who is ranked 9th, defeated Aryna Sabalenka in the final of the 2025 Australian Open to claim her maiden Grand Slam title, which earned her 2,000 points. World number 1 Sabalenka's runner-up result saw her collect 1,300 points. Iga Swiatek, who is the world number 2, and Paula Badosa, who is ranked 26th, each earned 780 points for reaching the semifinals in Melbourne last year. Coco Gauff, Alina Svitolina, Emma Navarro and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova are all defending 430 points, having been quarterfinalists in 2025. Elena Rybakina, Mira Andreeva, Belinda Bencic, Daria Kasatkina, Eva Liss, Olga Danilovic, Veronika Kudermetova and Dana Vekic each earned 240 points for making it to the fourth round. The 16 players who lost in the third round, including Jessica Pegula, Jasmine Paolini, Naomi Osaka, Clara Tauson, Marta Kostyuk, Diana Schneider, Leila Fernandez and Emma Raducanu, collected 130 points. The 32 players to fall in the second round, including Amanda Anisimova and Karolina Muchova, amassed 70 points. The 64 first-round losers at the 2025 Australian Open, a group that included Ekaterina Alexandrova, Linda Noskova and Yelena Ostapenko, earned 10 points. Tennis news. Barbara Shett, sick of criticism of women's tennis and admits she didn't watch Battle of the Sexes clash. Will worrying trend against top 10 players damage Iga Swiatek's hopes of Australian Open glory? Want more from Tennis 365? Add us as a preferred source on Google to your favorites list for tennis coverage you can trust. Popular on Tennis 365 Australian Open Women's Singles Ranking Points Breakdown Champion 2,000 runner-up 1, 300 semi-finalists, 780 quarter-finalists, 434th round, 243rd round, 132nd round, 71st round. 10 projected 2026 Australian Open Women's Singles seeds. Anyway, in the world of professional tennis, player rankings are determined by rolling points earned at tournaments over the previous 52. At each event, especially a Grand Slam like the Australian Open, players earn ranking points based on how far they advance. The deeper you went the previous year, the more points you must defend when the same event rolls around again. If you don't match or exceed last year's result, those points fall off and your ranking can slide. For the 2026 Australian Open, this matters huge time because Melbourne Park is the first Grand Slam of the season, and so many players' year starts are defined by how they handle this pressure cooker. Tennis. How many points the WTA stars are defending in Australia? According to a comprehensive WTA points breakdown for the 2026 Australian Open, first place medal Madison Keys, USA, defending 2,000 points. She was the champion at the 2025 Australian Open, earning the maximum 2,000 points and cementing her career year with her first major title. This is by far the biggest total among all women at this tournament. If Keys doesn't go deep again, she'll shed a huge chunk of her ranking total. Trophy. Aryna Sabalenka, B, defending 1,300 points. As the runner-up in 2025, Sabalenka pockets 1,300 points from last year's final. Additionally, Sabalenka had huge results elsewhere. She finished year-end number 1. But the Australian Open haul is one of the prime pillars holding up her ranking. Second-place medal Iga Swiatek, Pure, defending 780 points. Swiatek reached the semis at the 2025 AO, so she's defending a hefty total too. For her, this swing is less dramatic than Keys or Sabalenka, but still significant. Sports medal Coco Gauff, USA, defending 430 points, quarter-finalist in 2025, Gauff has to match that result or risk some ranking drop. Package other notable WTA stars. Here's a snapshot of other players at Melbourne and their points to defend from last year's event. Player defending points 2025 result: Alina Svitolina 430 quarter, final Emma Navarro 430 quarter, final Paula Badosa 780 semi-finalist Jessica Pegula 133rd round, Naomi Osaka 133rd round, Mira Andreeva 244th round, Diana Schneider 133rd round, Yelena Ostapenko 10 first round, Amanda Anisimova 72nd round, and several others defending across the 70 to 240 range. This range shows just how clustered and competitive the WTA rankings really are. A few big drops, or deep runs, here can reshape the year before we even reach Indian Wells. Fire why these numbers matter. Chart decreasing 1. Keys massive liability. Madison Keys leads all players in terms of ranking points to shed at the Australian Open. With 2,000 points on the line, and all of them coming off if she leaves early, she's in a surge or slide position. That's a rare dynamic for a defending champion, and it makes her campaign instantly compelling to watch. First place medal 2. Sabalenka's ranking fortunes. While Sabalenka didn't win the title in 2025, her runner-up performance at Melbourne combined with deep runs elsewhere, she finished the year atop the WTA rankings, gives her position some insulation. Still, losing 1,300 points doesn't come cheap, especially as Swiatek and Gauff climb. Balance scale 3. Swiatek and Gauff's upside. Swiatek's and Gauff's lower points to defend, especially compared with some rivals, means they have room to gain if they go deeper this time around. For Swiatek, improving on a semi-final result could help vault her back toward number 1. For Gauff, a quarterfinals breakout into a finalist run or title could supercharge her season. Hammer and wrench strategic impacts on the WTA Tour. Pushpin ranking shifts before Indian Wells. The Australian Open sets the tone, not just for points but momentum. Early losses from big point defenders can create sudden vacancy at the top of the rankings. Conversely, deep runs from rising stars, e.g., players outside the top 10, can vault them into seeded positions at Indian Wells and Miami. Pushpin injury and physical toll. Players like Sabalenka have publicly discussed managing their schedule and body through a packed season, a factor that directly affects performance and point defense. Pushpin race to number 1 dynamics with key players carrying different point liabilities, and the WTA's year-end ranking race tighter than ever. A swing at Melbourne could alter the projected number 1 finish. Players who outperform last year gain not just titles but serious leverage. Calendar closing the circle. Australian Open as narrative catalyst. The Australian Open doesn't just crown a slam champion, it resets the competitive landscape for the rest of the season. Players come to Melbourne with not only dreams of lifting the Daphne Akers Trophy, but also with the mathematical imperative to defend, or seize, ranking points that shape their entry into the rest of the WTA calendar. From Keys' 2,000-point mountain to Sabalenka's 1,300 and Swiatek's 780, the point stakes reflect each player's recent past and foreshadow how the next 11 months might unfold. Tennis in summary. Here's a concise snapshot of the biggest WTA point liabilities at the 2026 Australian Open. Madison Keys, 2,000 points, champion.